have all been saying it for years. All roads lead to Obama. What was once speculation of the obvious has sent the lunatic left scrambling.
It's so disappointing to look at what we're seeing from right-wing media these days, where there's such an obsession with the deep state and these revelations about the Russia probe and the decision about Michael Flynn. They're treating the Michael Flynn story like it's a bigger deal than the deaths of 2,000 Americans a day.
You know, there are all kinds of conspiracy theories about how he was entrapped.
The FBI agents didn't do anything wrong here. So I think that's important because there are a lot of sort of conspiracy theories.
They all work together, and, you know, the Fox News people in the White House fuel these sort of rumors.
Do they send these around with fax machines? They come up with these conspiracy theories and they send them around with fax machines.
They should just knock it off and realize that their ridiculous conspiracy theories are going to be knocked down.
Stop with the conspiracy theories.
When history looks back on this decision, how do you think it will be written?
Well, history is written by the winner, so it largely depends on who's writing the history.
I was struck, Peggy, by the cynicism of the answer. It's a correct answer, but he's the Attorney General. He didn't make the case that he was upholding the rule of law.
When history looks back on this decision, how do you think it will be written?
Well, history is written by the winner, so it largely depends on who's writing the history. But I think a fair history would say it was a good decision because it upheld the rule of law.
The news over the last 24 hours, I think, has been somewhat downplayed about the Justice Department dropping charges against Michael Flynn. And the fact that there is no precedent that anybody can find for someone who's been charged with perjury getting off scot-free. That's the kind of stuff where you begin to get worried that basic, not just institutional norms, but our basic understanding of rule of law is at risk.
He says, and if you don't do it, I will. And then later says, I've got my pen and my phone, and if you don't act, I will. Those who agree with the president's policies can sit back and say, well, I don't need to enter into tough negotiations about what needs to be done to enforce the law or to reform the law. And instead, I'll just wait for the president to act.
The rule of law is not before the government could do something, we must find some not completely absurd interpretation of existing law that allows us to do it, but actually looking to the law first, figuring out what does the law say objectively, and then figuring out whether you could do it, what you could do, not putting the cart before the horse, so to speak.
The release of real evidence from the Department of Justice tying Obama to the coup of the next administration had always been slowly seeping out.
Those texts, totally candid, unvarnished, have just raised an awful lot of questions.
Republican Senator Ron Johnson's Government Oversight Committee released an interim report including the FBI text messages that draw new connections to President Obama. In September 2016, 2 months after the FBI closed the Clinton email case and 2 months into the Bureau's Russia probe, then FBI agent Peter Strzok texts FBI lawyer Lisa Page using Bureau shorthand. Talking points for Director Comey? Page replies, yes, because POTUS wants to know everything we are doing. That POTUS, of course, is Barack Obama. While the coronavirus intensity played cover for the scandal in April of 2020, the DOJ released this telling email saying, we need to discuss what happens if the Department of Justice directs us or directly tells us, VPOTUS or anyone else about the redacted specifically with regards to what we do directly with him. I think it will be very difficult not to do some sort of overt step with him. A defensive briefing or interview under light defensive briefing pretext, unless White House specifically directs us not to. These directives would later become the basis for what is now General Michael Flynn's exoneration. And now Richard Grenell, the acting director of national intelligence, moved to declassify information about the Obama administration officials who were behind the unmasking of Michael Flynn, and their names could soon be made public. Fox News confirmed that a new round of documents is expected, and the unmasking concerns events between the November 2016 election and Inauguration Day 2017. But beyond the political sync
sinkhole that the Obamanites have found themselves standing on, there is a far more sinister element to ripping the Band-Aid off of this scandalous power play for the ages. And that can be found in the laptop of disgraced politician Anthony Weiner.
Right. So James Comey told Congress that they had reviewed all of the Clinton emails, hundreds of thousands that were found on the Weiner laptop, but that was not true. They barely looked at any of them. Just 3,000 out of 700,000 were actually individually examined.
Wait. They looked at how many?
3,000 out of potentially relevant 700,000 emails were actually individually examined for classified information and incriminating evidence.
If former FBI Director James Comey finally faces the music on his fake and unconstitutional investigation of General Michael Flynn, shouldn't the investigation of Hillary's illegal server and the alleged insurance policy on Weiner's laptop that sickened veteran New York Police Department officers and then resulted in a wave of their suicides following the witness of said alleged video documenting unspeakable terror on children by none other than Huma Abedin and Hillary Clinton, shouldn't that be investigated or released?
There are probably things she could still be indicted for, and frankly, I think should. Very clear violations of the Espionage Act, and really no issue about intent, despite President Obama proclaiming otherwise. And of course, you realize the reason that Hillary had to be protected was because he was writing her on that secret server using an alias, which shows that he damn well knew and had approved in advance her use of the secret unsecured server. On top of that, there's the Anthony Weiner laptop, which 675,000 Clinton emails when they got Anthony Weiner's laptop in a search warrant because of all his sex perversion issues. It was all the Clinton emails, the Clinton Foundation, her Secretary of State emails, Huma Abedin's emails. Lots of people emailed Huma as a proxy for Hillary, and it included what Comey called the golden emails. They specifically did not look at the BlackBerry backups, and they didn't look at a fraction of the emails on Anthony Weiner's laptop. So one of the things, if I were the president, I'd do is demand the Anthony Weiner laptop and get it to the most trusted person in the military to take apart everything on it and then start using it. There's a lot that can be prosecuted, I have no doubt, on that laptop. In fact, I heard that the New York police officers who saw some of it, even though they're hardened investigators, literally had to go throw up. It's bad.
Shouldn't we get to the bottom of all of the Obama administration's criminality once and for all before another Obamanite steps into the Oval Office? John Bound reporting.